several teams. Here's one of them. Julia and Kaya.
Okay, Bo, you're drifting pretty far to the left right now.
Julia got 11th place at last year's
Guys,
youth
come a little bit
champs
further right, that'd be great.
with Wyatt Kelly, the man. Julia was, was our best Sabbath sailor at the time, so she was our top Sabbath, 5th place at Sabbath Nationals was our top finisher last year.
We have the windward mark in the water. Can you keep an eye on it?
We threw her in the fire, put her in youth champs, and then you got Kaya.
I got it, yes sir.
Kaya knew how to sail, but just started racing 7 months ago. The crew, look how good she is.
Yep, and actually, for the offset, can we do...
Skies have cleared, so the wind should be going right here. We talked a lot about mimicking and looking at other boats, other teams' body positions. Boat 2, outstanding team to watch. And boat 4, outstanding team to watch. And we are training for the U.S. Youth Championship, which is in Rhode Island in July. The forecast is gonna be, here's our coaches Giselle and Antoine. And Antoine, what, 2-time youth world medalist in 29ers, and Giselle, her resume's too long to read, but Argentinian Olympian, 4-time laser junior women's national champion many years ago. Here's another team we've got, brand new team. This is one of our Sabbath, these are Sabbath sailors and 420 sailors who just decided to jump in. And HPYS granted them the boat and taking care of Olympia and Maribel sisters. They're 2 of our best Sabbath team sailors. So they'll be fun to watch. I don't know what their sail number is yet. Okay, it's gonna be beautiful, getting ready for race 1. Here's 2 of our other teams. They've got Emma Batcher, college national champ, BC, Boston College graduate, one of many from San Diego Yacht Club over the years. This is Kevin in
Hey, Pinboat, I'm picking up a
6-0.
ready over here. Do you guys think...
Kevin in Holland,
Can you guys
and then you
pull the
got
pin up
Wills
about 20 feet?
and Ronan, the most traveled team in the country. Wills and Ronan sail every single regatta, east or west coast, pretty much. Midwinter's East, Orange Bowl, whatever it is, clinic. Okay, it's gonna be a good weekend. Having fun? Race 1, 29er Midwinters West. We've got Anton and Ian. Less than a minute to go for race 1. Anton and Ian, boat 4. We've got Julia with the blue tab, 841, Julia and Kaya. We got USA 2 is Wyatt and Noah. Noah coming out of the 49er FX. They're right there. And he's a 49er sailor now. There's Wills. I think the boat's favored. I think the wind is at 210. See that on the back of the boat? But I think the wind is already to the right of 210.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
wow, Kevin.
1.
Uh-oh. Wow.
All clear except for the one guy at the boat.
I thought that was a little close. Kevin Holland, that's okay. Great jibe. Okay, there we go. We're gonna tell you when we're at the line. Line sight is somewhere around that sand pit. Do you see that white sand pit out there? So we gotta have line sights. It's a pretty short line. Race 1, first windward mark, and it's a race to the left middle in a south, kind of a 210, 220 wind is what, southwest. So in that wind, I think you're starting and trying to get left middle. Turns out the overall shift was slightly left, so you probably are pretty close to 210 on the compass. Ian and Anton and Ian come around first. They started left and they worked the left side. They didn't crisscross the middle at all. And if this is a true header on starboard, then they're going to be on starboard for a while here, waiting for the wind to maybe shift. You would look back over here. If you saw a big righty coming, you would be jibing a little bit on the early side maybe, or if you saw a big puff over here. But they're just going to keep going on starboard for a while here. That looks like Kevin and Holland coming around in 5th after the OCS start. So that was a good job, guys. I don't think they knew it, but there was more wind on the right. Here's Wyatt and Noah. Noah's not built for a 29er. He's about 6'4". And it's great, he comes back out. The cool thing about our team is Noah's one of our head coaches. The older kids coach the younger folks. Sail with them, coach them. Very unique program. There's Wills and Ronan. They just had a really hard time getting wind after the start. I didn't see that big hole coming. I didn't see it getting light like that. Anyway, race one. Spinnaker sets here. Julie and Kaya, first regatta together. They did the CISA clinic last week, Advanced Racing Clinic, with all the Charlie McKee, Willie McBride. But this is their first regatta together, and then this is the first regatta for the girls here in 61. First 29er regatta. They're Sabot 420 sailors who we just decided they wanted to do this really bad. They've only been in the boat about 4 days. Look how good that looks. 4 days in the boat. Maribel fell in the water on the first meet. Otherwise, they'd be in about 7th, actually, in their first race of their life in a 29er, but they had a little mishap. Cool. A puff of 7 coming down the course. Should be at 9 knots for the next race. Here's the leaders. This is full soak mode. And what you're looking for, you're going to see high booms. You should see the booms pretty high with the loose bank. And you're going to see the spinnakers being floated out in front of the boat. And you're steering different modes. You're kind of trying to get a little speed and then soaking towards the mark. And they're trying to float the kite out in front of the boat. And you're changing course to try to squeeze some speed out of the boat. So you're working on it hard. And the crew's moving quite a bit in these conditions. The crew hugs the mast in the light spots. You can see the skipper sits really far forward. Here goes a jibe. You're going to see a big roll and a weight, and then flatten with both sails. Yep. Okay, so this, hard to tell which end's further upwind, but these guys are obviously very good. So this one, they're thinking the wind is coming from Mexico. Mexico is on the left, so that makes this one further upwind. Yeah, that was a big gain. We're going to be able to tell. It's about 2 boat lengths further upwind. They were not quite, but they were right next to each other. Okay, we had a lot of goals today, but one of them was side force, not letting that main out hardly at all. The leech tails are flying, but the main is not going out hardly at all. You got to keep side force. They've got the bottom of the main quite flat for the flat water, and the leech of the jib's right with the spreader tip. Again, if you go too loose on the jib, you lose side force. Here goes Wyatt. They gained on the run. They're rounding 3rd, Wyatt and Noah. How tall he is. He's not even trapping yet. That's why I teach you hand trapping, little kids, if you're watching this. See, he hasn't even hooked in yet. He's just hanging there working the boat. Now he hooked in. That's more of a 470 technique, but okay. Kevin and Holland came around in like 4th. Their jib's too twisted. Their jib's luffing at the top, so I'm gonna work on that. Really good. Race 1, Wills and Ronan they went back even though they didn't get called over, and they have moved up to 6th. Kevin's moved up to 4th. Here's the girl teams. You can see how much more twist Olympia has. Looks like she's having troubles with the boat. But you can see the less twist, more side force on Julia's boat. Okay, there goes Olympia. Still looks like she's trying to fix something. But big gain for them. They were deep, and both teams gained downwind. So that means they didn't reach too much. What happens to new teams in 29ers is the boat doesn't feel good in soak mode. So then they start reaching super high because they've heard the boat's fast. Yeah, in these conditions downwind, if the boat feels too good, you're going too high. So the boat should feel kind of crappy in soak mode, right on the edge of crappy. Look at this, wind is building. It's already 7, 8 knots, especially right here on me. Okay, awesome. Race 1 going to the finish line. I don't know if you noticed, but they're heading lower. It's not a lot. No, it's not a lot. I thought, but what I'm getting at is when you're racing, if that guy is going lower than the last time they rounded, that means the wind shifted left. So no, they're going about the same direction. The wind is the same direction. I want to ask Anton and Ian if they think the wind went left and how much. So 210 was where the mark was at. I thought the wind was going to go to like 220, 225 during this race, and it did not. It's at least still 210, if not 20 something. And then south is right down there. I grew up on that beach right there, that Navy house there. That's where I learned to sail. If you're a younger team, if you're going upwind, you're actually looking at these guys. Remember, we're learning to mimic and study the best. And during races, we see Ian is straddling the mast, Anton sitting right next to the jib sheet cleat. The jib is loose. See how far out the top of the jib is? That's crucial. And the main, the boom is up in the air a little, so their vang is a little bit loose. Vang doesn't make a huge difference unless you have it too tight. So they're gonna turn slow, coast, heel, fill both sails, flatten, main in. Then the main's gonna go out as they go here, straddling the mast with the crew moving a lot. Sitting by the jib sheet. So again, as you're going upwind, you're looking at the leaders. These guys are definitely headed on starboard right here a little bit. So the wind has gone left this race. Here's Wyatt and Noah. Wyatt's main is looser than Anton's. Oh no, this is Kevin and Holland. Oh God, he got too low. The thing is that in a header, that boat's gonna look like they've gained. You can't, the wind's gonna oscillate back. You gotta stay on the high side a little. Man, they're almost second now. Incredible. They're a very small team that can sail in heavy air too. It's pretty cool. There's Wills and Ronan. Sorry. There's Wyatt and Noah. Wait, fill the kite. Flat. That's good wind here. He's half trapping. Good race. End of race 1. Finishing between the white ball and the race committee boat. And then here comes Kevin. They did a great job on this port tack coming across. A little righty came in. He was to leeward and just got knocked down and easy second. Yeah, you got to finish at the boat end. The white ball sank downwind too much. Finish right at the boat. Yeah. Great race. Those guys probably weigh 200 together, maybe. Wait till you see them in breeze, too. They're pretty good. Here it goes. Look at this. Wyatt and Noah gonna blast through the lead, and they got to give room. Yeah, they're gonna get third. Look at that jive. Oh my God. That's a youth world medalist right there. They got it. They got it. Yeah, dude. Look at that. That's just beautiful. And up on race 2, and what we learned a lot from race 1, but it is windier now. So we've got, you know, there's puffs to 9. Maybe I saw a puff to 10, but probably not now. And there's the sand pit way over there. I don't know if you watched this whole video, but our line sight for the last race was about where that big white sand pit is. What's happening? Having fun? Okay, there's the, I'm off the line by a lot right now, but when I get to the line, I'll tell you what the line sight is. Coming up on 5 minutes, so my bow is at the line, right, oh, the line sight's really tough. My bow is at the line right about there, but you see the sand pit? That's where the pin was, so they moved it up a boat length and a half, 2.5 boat lengths, 2 boat lengths sailing distance, and I think they moved the windward mark to the right, and you would go, oh, there it is right there, so they moved it right. It's almost lined up with the day marker, the military day marker. You see the little square things on the beach there? They use those to land landing craft. They were lined up with it, so that's where that is. This gate's probably still favor, oh no, the wind went right, so the gates are probably more square now. This is all pre-race routine stuff. Last time that race, that buoy, the one on our right in front of us there, that was further upwind for sure. But now that the wind's gone a little right, they're probably more even. Okay, here we go, race 2. I guess we have less than 1 minute. 298 is another one of our teams. She got 3rd in that race. I thought that was a Canadian team, and then it's Kate and Carly's getting ready. Yeah, 1 minute to go. Got Carly there squeezing Anton. Anton's a double attacking. Favored by a little bit. Oh, Borelli's. If you were really good, you'd do last call right now. You'd actually tack, reach for the committee boat, and then tack again with like
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All clear.
at like 16, 17 seconds. If you were really good, you could have tacked. And then, but remember, the kids came back on a little righty. So we'll see how they do here. I think these girls 61 are fast, so it's good to be small in a 29er and anything under 11, 10 knots. No, I think it was good. I thought the boat was favored by a tiny bit. So it probably was square, if he's worried about it, yeah. There's no line sight down there. I mean, you might be able to use the pin boat, but the pin boat's not anchored. So that, you know, it's a kid driving it. So if they don't, they're sighting the line with an unanchored boat. I don't think they're calling the line, but they're a good line sight. That's too much twist, so they should pull the main in and hike. That's all right. They're probably going okay, but yeah, that's too much side force. I mean, not enough side force. She could just go straight out, pull the main in and hike, and they would just be flying. Cool, race 2. So now you look at the other teams again, we're trying to mimic. You're gonna see they're quite flat, and the crews are out, but they're quite flat. Look at that boat. That's Kevin and Holland. Look at that. Almost heeled to windward, but not. I'm a big believer don't heel to windward. I don't think heeling to windward does anything special. All I think it does is give you a little more chance of dunking, but look how flat the girls are here. Yep, see that's the difference. If you look at the back teams, there's Julie and Kaya doing quite well, but look how you can tell they can't see as much of their leeward rail. and obviously the A teams have been sailing these boats for 3 or 4 years, and these girls this is their first regatta together. This is Kaya's second. She's done 2 clinics and a regatta in 29ers, so she's killing it. Yeah, our goal for them was to get the bow a little deeper. The boats are designed for over 9 knots, so anything under 9 knots, if you're dragging the stern, you're losing. You're losing distance, either a 1/10 of a knot, or a 4/10 of a knot, or a 1/2 a knot. You're losing it because the stern's dragging. So my goal was to get her a little further forward and just have Julia hike in the pups. Just hike for a little bit and then sit back up again. Okay, race 2, first windward mark, and the wind has gone right, so we may see some earlier jibes in this run. That's Wyatt and Noah. That's Kevin and Holland. Great set. Yeah, hairball set. That's what we call that. See how Kevin and Holland just, they blew it. You just literally, the boat almost capsizes. You got so much power. And then the crew just womps on it. Oh boy, getting rolled by Anton and Ian. That's all right. A hairball set is where you don't even turn down. You turn down, but you don't release pressure off the boat by going below a beam reach. You just straight to a beam reach, and I'll tell you, the little guys are going to be hard to hold off. These guys are little. Little and good is good in a 29er. Okay, trapping off the bar. Again, when you're going upwind, see this guy Ian trapping off the bar. When you're going upwind, you're watching them go by, and that's what you do. You know you're going to be doing at least that. If you're smaller, you know you're going to probably be on the rail. Like the small teams might be on the rail now. Anyway, a lot of video. Look at that. Just like I thought. Little is good, man. You guys they're crossing easy into the second. And they're still in second, but they've done okay. Man, Wyatt and Noah, they didn't lose anything. Race 2 last run. Looks like Kevin and Holland have just hung. It's 9 knots, solid 9 knots, maybe 10. And they're hanging with a really experienced team. It looks like the left paid again. These guys lost going right upwind. And then we'll look at the teams in the back. It looks like Olympia and Maribel are rounding 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10th. That's pretty good. And then here comes Julia and Kaya in 11th. So that's an improvement. Now one of our goals is every 2 races we're either making small changes or big changes. And so we're going to make some big changes on these guys. We got to fine tune the vangs. We got to make sure their jibs are in the right place. And I think we've got to have them keep the mains tighter and make the skippers hike a little. Those will be make sure our centerboard's stomped down for power. And can't think of much else. Just got to get the twists right. Now it's windier this race, but I am going to try to get some video of the very good teams as we're getting into the heat mode. As we get out of soak mode now, we start to go in more of what the heat mode. We get the boat going so fast that the wind shifts forward. And we might have to go between the two, between a soak mode and go from soak mode to heat mode as the wind builds and dies. But we will video. I got to get closer though. Julia and Kaya doing better this race. Now in the light spots, the crew's got to move forward. So this is a fore and aft movement thing for the crew only. The skipper doesn't have to move very much. But as it gets lighter, the crew's moving further forward to get the stern out of the water. Spinnaker looks great. Jib looks great. See how the jib's really twisted off at the top. They still have their vang on, which is okay, but remember, downwind you want your vang, you want your boom up. See how their boom is down? You want your boom up and the main inside the corner. You start with it just barely inside the corner. And that's, if you have the main in, it creates side force.
Thank you very much.
I just had a wave right over my head, like that. But again, the main inside the corner gets side force so the boat doesn't rock or be unstable. Okay, this looks good. Her spinnaker trim is so good. Her body position is fine. She should lurch forward a little right now and get the bow down, the stern out of the water, and the mast forward.